Well, peace and blessings. My name is Jere B. I am the EntreMusician, and so are you. Today, we're going to talk about follow the followers. You're listening? Follow the followers. Is that really a good idea? So that's what we're going to discuss today. But before we do so, you know that all of our videos are sponsored by the good people at Vocal. Vocal is the only beverage on the planet designed to soothe, refresh, and restore your voice. If you talk all day or sing all night, then you absolutely need Vocal. Go to drinkvocal.com and let them know that Jere B sent you there. They're launching Vocal, the new formula, this month, new flavors, and it's going to be an absolute blast. So, follow the followers. I was talking to my good friend Christopher Rhodes, who's an excellent bassist, always gigging down in the Maryland, Virginia, DC area. And we grew up together. He's an excellent young man, and we're always talking about these things as EntreMusicians. He brought up to me, which is absolutely right. I've seen the trend. I know it's very popular in the DC, Maryland area, but here at Cleveland, Pittsburgh, all of these places, tribute bands are the new normal. There are tribute bands all over the place, whether they, or bands that have tribute nights, like we're going to do All Luther, or a tribute to George Duke, or a tribute to Phyllis Hyman, or a tribute to the Beatles, or a tribute to Led Zeppelin, or whatever it is. There are tribute bands, and that's cool. I mean, it's more than a fad. It's almost like the new normal. And so it started us down this journey of just talking about, wow, where is originality with bands anymore? People seem to be avoiding originality. So if you're a cover band, if you're playing the top 40 hits, I mean, you always got a gig. And listen, don't hear me hating on that, because I'm not. I'm not hating on that at all. You got to do what you got to do sometimes to make a sandwich, to stay on the road, to eat. I get it. But it seems the trend is moving further away from originality and, hey, I'm a songwriter, or we're a band and we do our own music and we're building our brand to, well, in order to get out here and make a decent buck, we have to do a tribute night, or we have to turn ourselves into something that has already been glorified and already has been making money. So that led me to think about the audiobook that I had listened to some time ago and still listen to from time to time, and that's Earl Nightingale's, I'm dating myself, but that's Earl Nightingale's The Strangest Secret. You should Google that and listen to it, especially if you're an EntreMusician, because one of the things that Earl talks about in The Strangest Secret is people who are not following the leader, they are rather following the followers. They are doing absolutely everything else that everyone else is doing. They don't even check their references to see if the people that they are following are having good results or are getting to the place or the destination that they want to go. It's just that word that we use, I used it earlier, that trending. If this is trending, then you should do that. And I find that, and again, I'm not knocking it, you do what you need to do for you. But it seems to me that people are just removing originality from everything, from the genre of music. Like, what's really in your heart to do? What is your artistry? What is your expression? Well, someone will tell you that's not selling. You know, we can go all the way back to the early 80s when Prince did Purple Rain in the movie, and the guy, Billy, I think he was the club owner, he's like, your music is not going to do anything at all. And then the kid had to be true to his heart. Well, you know, the same thing is here today in 2018, where people will tell you, oh, you know, that music is not going to sell. You know, what you need to do is incorporate this, that, and the other. And I'm not talking about just putting out bad music, but I'm talking about the expression of your heart, your truest self. That's what's going to sell. Now, I'll tell you an interesting thing. First, from a Sound Doctrine perspective, which is my band, when we put it together in 2002, and I was looking for the right name, sound and Doctrine just kind of resonated with me, because sound, when I researched that word, it was really like a sound investment, something that is not just sound, something that you hear, but something that you can stand on, frequencies that you can feel and that are solid. And so that word sound really resonated with me, and that's what I wanted it to do. And then, of course, doctrine means teaching. But there's this scripture in Timothy, 2 Timothy, and as well as in Titus, where the Apostle Paul talks about sound doctrine, and make sure that you preach, make sure that you teach sound doctrine. And the world is going to have itchy ears. They're going to want things that will just tickle their ears, but make sure you teach sound doctrine. And then in that second Timothy passage, he reiterates it as he's writing to Timothy, and he talks about the world will not endure sound doctrine. I was like, whoa, am I setting myself up for a kill? I'm setting myself up so that most people won't like the group because of this scriptural reference. It's kind of an interesting dichotomy. But here's what I thought. I want to make the absolute purest music that we can possibly make. I mean, we want it to be from our souls, from our spirit, and be a vibe that just flows either from the record or from the stage to the audience. And so there's going to be some who get it and some who don't get it. There's going to be some who love it. There's going to be some who hate it. There's going to be some who are like, okay, after it, or there are going to be some who follow it. And our music resonates with them. So I said, well, this is the name. This is the concept. This is what we're going for. And instead of jumping in the pool with everybody else, then, we need to make sure that we can draw people to come to the pool that we're bringing them to. Now, I had an earlier experience back in, I want to say it's, I can't think of the year, but it was pre-90s. And that's where, and I'll check if I'm wrong. You can put that in the comment and go, yeah, you're wrong. But I remember seeing a show, this is late 80s for sure, that jazz icon Herbie Hancock did a show up in Cleveland at the Front Row. And at the time, he had recently just won his Grammy for the song Rocket. If you can remember, it was the earliest rendition of robotics or advanced robotics at the time. He had that great video out, and he was already an icon in the 60s and the 70s. And so here he is in the 80s, and he's always been experimenting. But I'm getting to a point. The point is, he wins the Grammy for Rocket. And so we're at the front row, and the place is sold out. I mean, there are tons of people at this venue who want the Herbie Hancock of Rocket. And he sits down, 3-piece, and he burns through a traditional jazz set, just rocking the piano, bass player, drummer, and just really killing the trio. And I can tell, like 40 minutes into it, the crowd is going, where's Rocket? You could feel the vibe, and I'm sure he's noticing it on stage. So he goes through some standards, he does some mild stuff. I mean, he's just absolutely killing it, doing his early renditions. Then I guess he noticed that people are getting up and they're walking out, right? They don't dig it. But he starts playing Rocket from his acoustic piano. They do about 3 minutes of a traditional Rocket. Blows it out, right? It's not the electronics. He doesn't have a synthesizer on stage, just his piano. And people are walking out. Some people are complaining. And when the rest of us remains, he says, now we can finish the real show because you were the fans. And I remember that, and I thought, wow, here is an artist. Here is an artist who is speaking from his spirit, speaking from his soul. This is how I feel tonight. This is the music that I'm presenting tonight. And although it's not a quote-unquote crowd pleaser, I'm being very true to who I am. So that experience stayed with me in the formation of sound doctrine. Now again, I'm not trying to hate on you or what you are doing with your artistry. I'm just, providing some observations, because oftentimes we could follow the follower, and it would have been so easy for Herbie Hancock to say, yeah, all right, really, I got the Grammy, boom, 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 and so I'm just going to cater to the crowd. But he kept exploring, and I thought that was absolutely dynamite. So let's take it a step further. What else is someone telling you? Like, you should be on, boom, whatever that is. Let's say everybody's on Facebook, so you have to be on Facebook. Everybody's on Instagram, so you have to be on Instagram. Everybody's on Spotify. You have to be on Spotify. I mean, you have to boom, 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 boom. You have to, as an EntreMusician, walk the line. I think that is ludicrous. Personally, does Instagram work for you and your audience? Does Twitter work for you and your brand? I mean, here's the thing. They will tell you it will, but you have to decide, is this the way that I'm going? Well, you know, it may be more fashionable for you and your band, you and your artistry, to not be on Twitter. We don't tweet. You know, tweeting is for, you know, losers, or whatever you want to say. You know, this is, if you're on Twitter, you know, we're not on Twitter, and we vibe over here on Snapchat or whatever. Or we don't do social media at all. Think about it. The novelty. Well, everybody's doing social media. Well, yeah, we don't do social media. We only do this, that, and the other. I mean, there are hundreds of bands that got rich and famous long before Facebook, long before this social media wave. Well, yeah, that was then and this is now, and you have to come in. I understand that. We're on Facebook. We are on some of these social media platforms, but how are we using them? Are we using them like everyone else? My band is not that band. Your band, your artistry is not that artistry. So even if you're on those platforms, how are you using them? Are you using them in a way that is unique to you? What are you doing across the board for your own branding, your own originality, your own flavor, so that you set yourself apart from everything that everybody else is doing? And you know, that's why they call geniuses genius, right? Because you're not doing everything that everybody else is doing. They're thinking differently. They're thinking outside of the box. They're thinking in a way that brings them uniqueness and individuality. They're thinking in a way that causes their fan base to be loyal to them. As Seth Godin calls it, their tribe. They are thinking in a way that says, hey, this is us. This is who we are. And that is the best way to be. So I ask you, are you following leaders? Are you blazing your own path? Or are you just following the crowd? Are you following the followers? And going back to Earl Nightingale, I forget the audiobook that this one was on, but he said, if you're doing everything that everybody else is doing, stop it. That would be the reason to quit. Forge your own path. Don't follow the followers. So I would love to know what you think about this. Please comment in the section below. Please let me know, where I may be off, what you think about it, and engage with us. So thank you for listening. That's a little bit of my heart. I would love to know yours. Please comment. Please share this video. Please subscribe so you'll know the next time that the EntreMusician is doing something. We're all out here trying to win the best way that we can, and it begins with dialogue. Please go to the EntreMusician.com. The EntreMusician.com. We are growing very slowly but very steadily. Now over 45 artists are a part of our EntreMunity. Nice twist on community, but our EntreMunity. And when you go and sign up at the EntreMusician.com, you'll get our free ebook entitled 50 Engaging Ways That You Can Turn Your Fans into Family. For example, here's a tip. Always honor a charity, especially on the road, when you're traveling around. Always look for a local charity that you can help, honor them, invite them to the gig, partner with them for that evening, and you will not only be helping to sell tickets for your event, but you'll be helping to raise awareness as to what's going on in that region and how that charity is helping, and bring some awareness to them as well, because they're deep in the trenches trying to make life better for for someone. So we have 50 engaging ways of how you can do that to help strengthen your brand and your band. So thank you for hanging out with us today. My name is Jere B. I am the EntreMusician, and so are you. We'll see you next time.